Did you ever come across someone that you thought, this isn't the job for you? Maybe you shouldn't be a cop.
Sure.
What was it? Is there a common quality trait of people that just shouldn't be a police officer?
I sent 3 back. Well, one I didn't have to send back. He went back on his own. Matter of fact, he left the department. One guy, he went back on his own. He'd have made an excellent cop. He was smart, he was sharp, he was observant, and he listened. Unfortunately for him, and I don't know where he's at today, and I won't even mention his name, but his fiance didn't like him in patrol, so he left patrol to go be a bailiff, to go to the courts and work inside where it was nice and safe. And what a loss it was. He was a good guy. I hated to see him go. I really did, because
Yeah.
he'd have been a good one. There was another guy. God, he was. I don't know how he ever became a cop. He's an extremely religious man, and I'm not knocking anybody's religion. But it finally got to the point. I said, "Hey, I got to ask you for a favor." He said, "What's that?" I said, "Give God 16, give me 8, because I want to go home at night. You're going to get me killed." And it finally came down to one point. I see a guy. We're going to a assault with a deadly weapon call. We're going to assist on it. When we're driving down, I see some gangbanger running towards us, and he sees the car. And as soon as he sees the car, he books like he's going to start jumping fences. I stopped the car right at the corner, and I said, "Okay, you go up there, right there where we went it. You stay there. I'm going to back up a little bit." I dropped him off. I backed up to the corner. So now we've got both angles covered. And now I'm asking for backup, and I'm asking for Aero Bureau. There is no backup for me, and Aero Bureau is occupied because they're going to the gunshot victim call. And I'm looking, and I see my partner over there that I remember his name. I just don't want to say it.
Yeah.
And he's going down there, and he's looking, and he's talking to somebody. And I'm saying, "Lee," I said, "are you okay?" And he looks at me, and he's holding up 4 fingers like code 4, everything's fine. And I said, "Lee, are you okay?" And he's nodding his head and putting up 4 fingers, but I see him talking to somebody. So I said, "Well, forget this shit." So I just went up to him, and there was a guy laying in a rose bush, laying down in the planter box there. And as soon as I saw him, I recognized him. I had just told my trainee about him a couple of days prior. I said, "You see that guy? Don't ever forget his face. That guy will kill you." He hates cops. His dad's in the joint right now. He hates cops. He'll kill you. So I'm looking, and I'm saying, "Get up, Ernie, and get up slow. If you fart, flinch, burp, or sneeze, I'll kill you." And, "Oh, Carrillo, I'm glad I saw you, man. Hey, these guys were after me. They're chasing me down. Did you see them?" I said, "Just get up." And I'm going to get out and hook him up because I know he's running from trouble from something. When the guy's at the gunshot victim call, he's asking for more help now. So I said, "Okay, get out of here, Ernie," because I know Ernie. I know where he lives. I know everything about him. We leave. We go over there. Turns out Ernie had just killed a guy at the party.
Wow.
And that's what he was running from.
Wow.
And so, not a problem. I tell my partner, "Not a problem. We'll go to the station. We'll write a supplemental report for homicide saying, we saw the guy, contacted him, I know him, yada, 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 yada." And so I'm doing this. I said, "Okay, when you see him down the ground, what do you tell him? Freeze, don't move?" And he said, "Well, no." I said, "Well, what were you talking to him about?" He said, "Well, he was in the planter box. I was asking him if he was okay." And I'm saying, "Lee, God, what's it going to take, son? You're going to get me killed. We can't do that, son. Please, I'm begging you. Give God 16, give me 8. And went back the next day. He wanted me to go with him. He went into the training lieutenant and told him he wanted to go back, wanted to get out, go to the jail. This job wasn't for him. And he started crying. He started boo-hooing, and it really affected him. And I knew this job was not for him, and I had no objection to him going back. Better off for everybody. And he shouldn't even be in the jails because they're going to eat him up in there.
Yeah.
Well, he went, And last I heard, he had left the department shortly thereafter, and he is now a minister back in the Midwest someplace, which is where he should be.
Yeah.
And God bless him. I remember the admin lieutenant or the training lieutenant said, "Okay, Lee, go report to the desk. You'll work the desk. We'll get you off the streets." And he says, "Gil, stay here. I want to talk to you." He said, "Did you put him up to this? Did you intimidate him? Did you push?" I said, "No, I really didn't. This came out of left field for me." I said, "I've been telling the guy he's not cut for patrol. I'm telling you. Very religious, very kind, very nice man, but he's going to get somebody hurt." And he says, "Okay." He says, "And Gil, I don't want you telling anybody that he broke down crying in here the way he did." And I said, "Lieutenant," I said, "I can't wait to get out there and tell everybody how he cried like a little sissy." And I just went laughing down the hall. So.
Well, so I mean, at least he recognized that, the job wasn't for him.
Yeah, and everybody knew it. Everybody loved him. He was a nice guy. You couldn't help but love him. I started all my trainees off the same way. And we'd go down, find a transient drunk, pick him up, take him down. We didn't take him to jail. We'd take him down to the midnight mission. They would take him off our hands for us and give him a shower and a warm cot. But it got him used to handling drunks and dirty drunks. So, picked him up. He's in the back seat. We're driving along. The guy's name, Trini Gurola Ortiz. I still remember the guy. And when he was drunk, I mean, he could be a fighter. But when he was sober, he was a nice guy, and he was a shoemaker. He used to work on shoes. He could make shoes. His dad owned a shoe shop. He knew all this stuff. So he's talking to him, and Lee's talking to him, and somehow they start talking about God in the 10 to 15-minute drive from where we picked him up down to Midnight Mission. And so we're down there, and he starts telling Lee before we get there, he says, "You're the smartest cop I've ever met." And Lee said, "Oh, no, my training officer." He said, No. Give credit where credit's due. I've never heard any of these guys talk about God the way you do. He says, "That was amazing." And he looks at me, he says, "Hey, Carrillo, but how do you put up with this shit all night long?" So even Trini recognized he was a nice guy.